And this is why I'm one of the believers that there is paper Bitcoin out there dampening the market. So we'll see. But, nothing stops the train. It's going to go. The dollar is going to keep on inflating and Bitcoin is going to keep going up. It's just a question of when it all converges. And that's in line with my prediction that we're going to go to 1 million fast. See, even Saylor thinks so. Like, it's going to be fast and violent, no matter how you slice and dice it, right? If you say if you take his prediction in the least violent way, that is like 10 Omega candles a year, right? And that's 1 million in a year. That is the least violent thing. Anything else is utter, unspeakable financial market violence. Like, that's like, $1 million candle in a year or a $2 million candle in 2 years, and then rapid ascension upwards. And that's all in line with Max Payne theory. So I agree.
Yeah.
Samson Mow cautions that fiat currencies rarely disappear without a fight. History demonstrates that when confidence in paper money wanes, there is a violent breakdown rather than a peaceful transition. However, the US dollar is distinct. It has survived far longer than others because of its close ties to international trade, finance, and digital infrastructure. However, Samson contends that this defense is just momentary. It is not a question of if the dollar will eventually drop, but rather when. For further updates on Bitcoin and the wider world of digital assets, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications before we go any further. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Use stablecoins, and they're one click away from saving some of that into Bitcoin. So I think that that's a really good thing. And go ahead.
There's discussion about will it be a quick transition off the dollar or a slow transition. I think it's actually going to be a quick transition because fiat currencies always die in a spectacular manner. It's just a question of when. And you also have to factor in that the US dollar is in a very unique position because it is largely digitized outside of stablecoins. Like, it is a digital thing. It's reached market penetration that no other prior reserve currency has reached, right? Like, it's sort of married itself with technology and ingrained itself in economies around the world. So it might actually take a few years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10, I don't know, but it will end, but it's taking longer than normally it would have. That a non-digital fiat currency would not have this lifespan. When people wake up, they all wake up. It's not like we'll start transitioning off the dollar and the corner store near your house is going to keep taking the dollar and changing their prices to like $1,000 for a Kit Kat bar, right? It's just going to be a quick thing once that thing hits, and they'll just switch off and take Bitcoin because they can't afford to not take Bitcoin. They can't afford to take the dollar at some point. And I think Germany with the mark dying, that's a good example. It happened in, a year-ish. And that was a non-digital thing. So I think it'll be faster for the dollar to fail. But until that happens, it does feel like Bitcoin is extending it by integrating with it in some ways. If you look at all the warning signs, it is all there for anyone to see plain as day. There is infinite money now. Someone from the Federal Reserve said that in a clip before. But, there's infinite money in the Federal Reserve. But it's true now, and you're seeing signs of that. If you look at the Bitcoin treasury companies like Strategy, they're borrowing at 0%, right? They're effectively tapping into the infinite money out there and converting it to Bitcoin. And the question is, when do people figure this out? And I think when people figure out this, that you could basically, invest, $40,000 and start making back your annual salary free, I think a lot of money is going to flow to Bitcoin. Some of it will flow to other things like high time preference activities, but a lot of it will flow to Bitcoin once people figure out that there is infinite money out there and anybody can tap into it. Yeah, I think we should have been here already. So
Yeah.
I would have thought that the ETFs opening the floodgates combined with Strategy would have gotten us there already. And this is why I'm one of the believers that there is paper Bitcoin out there dampening the market. So we'll see. But, nothing stops the train. It's going to go. The dollar is going to keep on inflating and Bitcoin is going to keep going up. It's just a question of when it all converges. I think the 80,000 coins that were market sold is a good indicator that the market doesn't care about anything now. Like, there's just too much power behind accumulation, whether it's strategy or other Bitcoin treasury companies or hodlers or ETF buyers too. There's just a massive amount of insatiable demand, and the demand is only going to go up. I think it's fully possible. I mean, that's like an omega candle every month or so, and that's in line with my prediction that we're going to go to 1 million fast. See, even Saylor thinks so. Like, it's going to be fast and violent, no matter how you slice and dice it, right? If you say his prediction, if you take his prediction in the least violent way, that is like 10 omega candles a year, right? And that's 1 million in a year. That is the least violent thing. Anything else is utter, unspeakable financial market violence. Like, that's like, $1 million candle in a year or a $2 million candle in 2 years, and then rapid ascension upwards. And that's all in line with Max Payne theory. So I agree.
Yeah.
Like, that, what he just quantified it in numbers, 21, 21, 21, but I've quantified it in words with omega candles and Max Payne theory. But it's the same packaged differently.
Samson Mow presents a compelling case for mining. Energy production and Bitcoin mining will inevitably converge in the future, because Bitcoin is not only profitable but also aids in power grid stabilization and the conversion of extra energy into income. National utilities themselves will mine it. This is already occurring. Bhutan has been mining Bitcoin in secret and amassing billion-dollar reserves. Instead than imposing adoption from the top down, Mow is implementing pilot projects by working directly with governments through his company, Jan3. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications for future Bitcoin, macroeconomic, and digital asset content before we go any further. Now, let's get into his powerful predictions.
Treat your Bitcoin as if it was 10 times more valuable or 100 times more valuable than it is. Secure it, make sure that you're trying to stay as private as you can. Use the privacy tools afforded to you. Just plan as if your holdings are 100 times more valuable, and then you'll be in a good place. I mean, it can be done, just like anything can be done, right? The only thing that can't be done is printing Bitcoin out of thin air, but anything else is possible. So I've talked about rebasing to Bitcoin and just setting an exchange rate of 1 sat to $1. And that just takes a politician. Maybe it's Trump, I don't know, but somebody just to say, we'll let you redeem your debt for this. And that's it. I mean, how do you peg a dollar to gold? It's by decree. And pegging a currency to Bitcoin is the same. It just depends on the motivations and the necessity of doing so. I think when things get bad enough, every card is on the table. And we're seeing this, right? Some of those cards are bad cards. It's the rolling out of a CBDC like in Europe, or starting to control the internet like in the UK. There are things that are happening, and you can see these things happening are a direct response to other things that they're trying to mitigate or distract you from. So there are a lot of, just take the UK as an example, there are a lot of societal problems, and now they're focusing on this one particular thing, which doesn't do anything for the other problems, but it definitely distracts and gets people enraged. But it just goes to show, like, every card is on the table now. But that rebasing the Bitcoin card is also, it's in the hands, and it can be played at any time. And that's why I say plan accordingly, because you have to be ready for when these things happen. And the best thing to do to be ready is to be in Bitcoin. Well, if not the federal level, definitely at the state level. And you're already seeing a lot of that happening in Texas. But I've said this for, 6-7 years now. But eventually mining and energy generation is just the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. So if you have a national utility, they're going to mine Bitcoin just because it makes sense to do so, even from a grid management perspective. The monetary upside is just icing on the cake. And as people understand what Bhutan did, mining Bitcoin and getting $1 billion in Bitcoin in their reserve, more people will do that. And that's something we're trying to do now at Jan3. We're trying to engage with governments to start small pilot projects. We found that this might be a better strategy than engaging at the very top and, meeting with the president or prime minister and trying to get him to do something, because it's really hard to get them to do something, not just at an intellectual level, but at an execution level too. For the reasons I said before, it's hard to do things in any government.
Samson Mow ends by serving as a powerful and sobering reminder of the direction things are heading. He clarifies that practically anything can be done with our financial system, including pegging, resetting, and restructuring currencies. The only exception is that no one can invent fresh Bitcoin. The distinctive feature of Bitcoin is its fixed supply. Samson notes that a leader may choose to tie their currency to Bitcoin in the future, much like the US dollar was previously compelled to be linked to gold. It only needs political will, not magic. He also connects this to mining and energy in the future. Samson contends that because mining Bitcoin makes financial sense and stabilizes power systems, major utilities will eventually mine it themselves. This has already been demonstrated by Bhutan, which has built up billion-dollar reserves through covert mining. Samson is assisting governments in conducting modest pilot projects through his business, John 3, so they may test this idea practically. Building adoption from the ground up until it becomes inevitable is more important than waiting for top-down approval from presidents or prime ministers. He concludes by answering the query of whether nations such as the United States are covertly purchasing Bitcoin. It makes logical in theory, but in practice, governments encounter significant bureaucratic obstacles. Similar to gold, they cannot covertly purchase substantial quantities without numerous levels of oversight, regulation, and approval. Even something as basic as a municipal wanting to include Bitcoin in its treasury can require years of red tape and paperwork, according to Mow. Therefore, even while it is feasible, it is not particularly realistic in the near future. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications if you thought his viewpoint was helpful so you don't miss any updates. We'd love to know what you think about the future of cryptocurrency markets, so please share your ideas in the comments section. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.